Hey guys, it's Dungeon Master Mark, and today we're bringing you kind of a different movie for this channel. So, most of our videos on this channel are over role-playing game stuff, Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, terrain accessories. Today we're doing a movie review. So for those who don't follow me on Facebook, I was able to acquire some screener tickets to go see the new King Arthur Legend of the Sword movie. So my wife, myself, and my daughter went to see the movie last night, and it was awesome. Probably the best King Arthur movie I've seen ever. And I know some of you will say, what about like First Night? What about, Sean Connery as King Arthur? And I'm going to say this was probably better than all of those. And it's a Guy Ritchie movie, which Guy Ritchie movies are either really, really awesome or kind of weak. This movie was ridiculously good. Definitely beat all my expectations. And Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy pulls off King Arthur in this movie so flawlessly, it is ridiculous. Jude Law plays Vortigern, which is Arthur's uncle who stole basically the crown from him. Very, very interesting the way they changed a couple things in the story, which I'll get into that in a second. You also have Eric Bana. As some of you may recall, once played the Hulk. He's actually Uther Pendragon, Arthur Pendragon's father, which you see a little bit in the beginning and a couple other scenes. You have Aidan Gillen. Sorry, I had to write down a couple notes real quick so I can remember stuff. Adrian Gillen, who people remember plays Littlefinger on Game of Thrones, was in it as Goose Fat Bill, who was a character. Where to start at? Just from like a gaming perspective, if you're a GM or you're a player and you love fantasy books, movies, TV shows, like I said, very, very good film. A couple things they got really, really right. They have, sorry, I'm actually at work and there's actually my lunch break, just got to eat lunch. But a couple things they got done really, really well. One, magic in the story. There's not really any cheesy magic effects. The special effects they do have, I would say, probably rival those that are in like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I know you're going to be like, there's no way. The special effects in this, very, very well done. I like them a lot. The way they show magic, like even with Excalibur, reminds me of something I would describe in a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Like you don't see the sword doesn't, magically cut someone in half or anything goofy like that. I mean, he wields it, but they show like the runes in the sword kind of glow when he kind of uses this power. And then the easiest way to describe it is if you think of how a paladin would describe smiting, like evil. The way they do the special effect definitely reminds me of like a smite power when Arthur wields Excalibur for the first time. And it's really interesting, the way they show magic in the movie. It's not something really, really cheesy. You don't see lightning bolts shooting out of someone's hand, even though there is kind of a fireball-like effect at one point, but nothing really super, super cheesy, right? Another thing I really liked is the way they show armor in the film. This isn't like one of those films where they show every single person's clad head to foot in plate mail and chain mail or anything like that. You see a lot of leather armor, some really unique looking, very authentic looking leather armor. You do see a couple people wearing like shoulder plates and a couple people wearing plate mail, or at least the chest plates, breastplates. But there's nothing that's really outrageously fake about it. Weapons are all on point. They do show some archers, some crossbows, some different types of medieval weapons. Nothing crazy. There's no like like double-bladed swords or anything crazy like I've seen in some movies in the past. So I have to give them kudos for that. I like the authenticity. Another thing I want to talk about is kind of the cityscapes, the way they do the cities. In Lord of the Rings, we saw where a lot of the towns were very authentic looking. Like Hobbiton, obviously, they actually planted the flowers and everything a year in advance. I'm not sure how that was done. It looks like a lot of it may have been CGI, but very nicely done CGI in King Arthur. One thing I liked was when they talk about Londinium, which is actually the ancient Roman word for London before it was London. So they actually use the correct terminology for us history buffs and us nerds. which would have been correct at the time because it would have been leftover from the Roman times, some of these buildings. That in the movie, when they show the ancient London, you have these ancient looking like Roman pillars and pieces of like a bygone age, which to me, when I'm thinking of like a Dungeons and Dragons town, like a big giant town that was built like around ruins, I'm thinking that there's still some ancient temples, still ancient stonework from the time before, right? So I liked it. It definitely sold kind of the feel of the city itself in this ancient London town. And they bring in the fact, you have barges, you have water wheels. It looks very, very real. In the background, you'll see a lot of extras, whether it's sweeping, whether it's working on fishing boats, whether it's working equipment. So I really, really like that they took a lot of time to make it look very lifelike. I really, really like that. That's something, obviously, they did in Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and a lot of films like that. You get some movies like Conan and some of these other like lower budget films where they just don't have enough extras in the background, and some of these ancient towns just look really, really fake. So I give him credit. Guy Ritchie did an awesome job on that in the detail. I like the fact they worked in the actual history as far as whether it's armor, whether it's the cityscapes, like how cities looked. So kudos to them for that. The last thing I wanted to touch on was the fact that it was a nice balance of the actual history and kind of myth, and they brought in a little bit of the fantasy for the actual magic and really blended those together quite well. So that's really about it, guys. Like I said, if you guys love fantasy movies, if you love history movies, anything involving medieval times, you definitely got to check out the new King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. You will be pleasantly surprised. The only downside is Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, I believe, the week before. So I'm kind of afraid this movie might be squashed a little bit by Guardians of the Galaxy. But it is a ridiculously good movie. So make sure you guys see it. Like I said, if you get a chance, hopefully when it comes out on DVD, I'm going to try to buy it so I can use some little clip scenes from it for like when I do some paint work and stuff like that. The movie, absolutely amazing. I can't say enough good things about it, guys. Thanks for watching, and always keep on gaming, guys, and have a good one. Bye-bye.